this video. My name is Mark Gachunga, the director of GMA College. Today, we are going to be speaking about the major differences between successful people and unsuccessful people. Have you ever realized, have you ever known the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people? I came to discover the difference after many years of study. One thing I realized is that successful people never act as victims. Unsuccessful people, on the other hand, like acting as victims. When something happens, they love blaming someone, they blame someone else, they blame the government, they blame their parents, and everyone else. Successful people do not do anything of that sort. That means successful people take responsibility of their lives. I want to give you a personal story, personal stories. My brother passed on in 2018, and this is a sad story. When I remember it, I get emotional. My brother passed on in 2018 due to some heart complications. And one day, after some weeks, I went to his graveside, and I just cried, I sobbed, and I remembered how my brother had potential. He wanted to become a lawyer. He was so fluent. He wanted to fight for people's rights and all that. And my brother always topped his class from elementary up to class 7. Do you know what? I got angry and I decided to leave it. I came and I told my mom, look at this. I'm going to become so successful that I'm going to compensate my brother's potential and mine. My success is going to befit two lives. That is my success and my brother's success. Now, that is what we are calling, getting angry. For you to be successful, you have to get angry. That means you have to get angry and decide to revenge. That day, when I went to my brother's graveside, I decided that I'm going to revenge against death. And this is what I'm talking about. Successful people never act as victims. Now, let me give you a second story about my life. When I was in class 4, or rather grade 4, I fell in class and I lost one of my front teeth. Do you know what happened? When I went to high school, they victimized me. They called me names. They gave me a name that I cannot mention before anyone. I used to cry every day. I could not speak before people. I could not smile from the age of 8 to the age of 23. Guess what? I decided to get angry. I got angry at the status quo and I decided to revenge. Let me give you that story. When I started my business, everyone, including my family, they told me, you cannot do it. Just quit and go and get employed, and all that kind of stuff, including my immediate family. But let me tell you what, that is not the characteristic. Quitting, giving in to pressure is not the characteristic of successful people. Successful people move on without that they have decided to do it. Now, all these examples drive me to this. You have to get angry. You have to revenge. Let me just tell you the truth. There are things that happen in your life that you cannot just allow them rest. You have to revenge. That means you have to get angry with the status quo. Like myself, I grew up in a humble background. I grew up maybe sometimes without food, sometimes without school fees, and all these things. I never came from the best background I could ever want. I decided that my children never go through what I went through. That is the quality of successful people. I think this is why I am where I am today. Whatever you are going through, or whatever you went through in your childhood, in your family, in your business, in your marriage, does not have to dictate your future. You have to get angry at some time. Get angry with the status quo. Decide that this is not the life I signed up for. This is not it. This is not it. I was not born just to achieve this. And tell yourself, have the spirit of revenge. Do not allow the world to push you. Sometimes life can push you to the corner. And what do? You just sit there and cry and do nothing. When you become a victim, you lose the power. The power to change it. But when you become like a lion, there's a quote I heard sometimes back that if you do not have the lion's spirit, you cannot receive the lion's share in life. That means if you back down, look at a lion. The lion is not the largest animal in the jungle. It is not the heaviest. It is not the smartest. It is not even, nothing. But the lion's spirit is a spirit of not giving up, a spirit of fighting, a spirit of not being pushed around. This is why the lion is the king of the jungle. Do you have that spirit in you? And I can tell you today, all successful people, have the same spirit, the spirit of the lion. That's why in this jungle of life, successful people are always ahead and on top of everyone else. Do you have that spirit? How can you cultivate it? Do you just shrink when everything comes crumbling on you? When the world is tough on you, what do? Do you just cry, and become a victim of everyone else? That will not give you success. I can tell you for a fact, if you want to be successful in this world, you have to become a fighter. You cannot just back down from every fight. If anything happens in your life, if you sleep hungry, if your house, you cannot pay your rent, you cannot put food on your table, you cannot get a job, it's not a moment to just sit down, not a moment to cry. That's a moment to rise up and your lion spirit, to be ignited. And that is when you're going to start bringing solutions to your life. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, kindly subscribe to this channel, like, share, and do not forget to click the notification button so that you can be notified of other videos that we upload on a weekly basis.